It's official, we're getting Horizon Forbidden West DLC that, just as we discussed before here on the channel, it's called The Burning Shores. So I want to look at the first trailer, info from the PlayStation blog, and of course references in the base game that tell us more about what we can expect. So of course, if you are excited for more Horizon content, then leaving a like would really support the channel, and let's go. I, by the way, started a giveaway for the DLC. It launches on April 19th, 2023 for PS5, no PS4, more on that in a moment. So if you want to participate, you can do so via the link in the pinned comment, and be sure you are a subscriber of the channel before you enter as well. So one thing that immediately stands out is the fact that Aloy is flying on the Sunwing, which of course means that while the Horizon Zero Dawn DLC, The Frozen Wilds, took place during the story, The Burning Shores will continue after the ending of Forbidden West. Matthijs de Jonge, who was also the director on Forbidden West and Zero Dawn, returns for the DLC, and he notes in a blog post that a massive machine threat lurks in the shadows, a huge challenge that Aloy must overcome by using all her skills and abilities. 32.3% of the people who played Forbidden West finished it, looking at the trophies on PS5, so that's a big audience for this DLC, and it's of course also really exciting to see Aloy's life and that of other characters after the ending of Forbidden West. And this also means there's a ton of potential for an even bigger tease for the inevitable third game, because I'm still not sure about the whole revelations and the kind of weird new enemy we saw at the end of Forbidden West, so I hope they make it more interesting with this DLC. And maybe you already noticed the new Quen armor that Aloy was wearing, of course based on the new tribe. It was kind of weird that we saw no outfits from that tribe in the main game, but yeah, they probably saved it for this new content. I hope we also get some awesome helmets, what we see the guards wear, for example. Seems like they're hiding the headgear in this trailer, so I still have hope. And yes, as expected, the expansion takes place in Los Angeles. We see some famous landmarks, like I think this the Capitol Records building, where music from the Beach Boys and Frank Sinatra was recorded. We see the Griffith Observatory, I think, here. I've actually been to this once. It gives a great view over the city, but not much left of it in Horizon. But yeah, overall, Los Angeles is of course a perfect location to explore, also looking at where Forbidden West took place, and I would not be surprised if we maybe leave the US in the third game, so then still having Horizon's interpretation of LA is pretty cool. Guerrilla notes that we have to pursue a sinister threat in the untamed wilds of Los Angeles, now a treacherous volcanic archipelago. So while at first glance the area looks very similar to San Francisco from the main game, the lava and the fact that we have more smaller islands to explore instead of just one big one should make things quite different. Also the fact that we can immediately fly around should change things up nicely, and there should be a lot of underwater areas to explore as well. But yeah, the most exciting part was totally the reveal of an active metal devil in the area, destroying the Hollywood sign. Ever since Zero Dawn, it has been a dream to fight one of these machines, and I really thought it would happen in the main game when we saw the tease at the end of Zero Dawn, but turns out they saved it for the DLC, which I think is a great choice too. Like, I would not be surprised if this turns out to be the final boss of the DLC. The tentacles should of course be a problem, but we also know that they were able to reproduce other ancient machines and themselves. We did not see any Deathbringers in Forbidden West, but I think there's a high chance that we will see them again in The Burning Shores, just like more joraptors that we of course only got to fight a few times in the main game. I really love the key art. We all see Vantage Beach, and I really hope we get to explore that before the Horus destroys it. And are they like teasing a fight on the back of a Sunwing here? I think that would be awesome. What we do see for sure though is a Quen character. At first glance I thought they were fighting, but it actually seems like Aloy is pointing at the Horus, and that they are like both ready to take it out. So cool that we have confirmation and that we will learn more about this still relatively new tribe before we hopefully go to their homeland in future content. Aloy will be traveling to a dangerous new region south of the Tenakth clan lands, featuring a compelling storyline following from where Horizon Forbidden West ended, with new characters, adventures and more. So next to new characters, I think we can already guess which ones are returning, because with Guerrilla now confirming the name game, we already speculated before, it's very likely that Gildan from the Frozen Wilds DLC is making a comeback. Because during the Burning Blooms side quest, which now got an extra meaning, we find the A Damn Shame data point, a Delver's diary written with a friendly hand. So this is obviously Gildan because he mentions his adventures with Aloy during the waterlogged mission in the Frozen Wilds, and then ends with, I shall take a few moments to reminisce, and then southward it is to the burning shores. Like, that was the first mention of this area that we had. I still would not be surprised if we get a similar dam mission with Gildan, but then for the Hoover Dam that is already in the game over here on the map. Like, this now seems to be 100% confirmed as the DLC entrance, right? That we just have to fly here, follow this path, and that the Los Angeles map will just be added to the current Forbidden West map we have, just like the cut in Frozen Wilds. Also, the machine oil drinking Banuk was seen in Forbidden West by some Oseram who made a data point about it. Here it was mentioned that this mysterious and pretty weird character was shouting that he had to keep running to the place of flame and brine, with brine of course being salty water, so this was very likely his way of saying burning shores. I really liked the Acquired Taste side mission in Zero Dawn, where he also said that Aloy should meet him if she weathers the storm, which we did after finishing Forbidden West. Would of course be interesting if he teased the future again during our next meetup. We also of course had Lance Reddick, the actor behind Silence, give away that he would be returning for Horizon Forbidden West, and because I think the Burning Shores will be the only expansion, seems like he will be featured in some way. Just like the actress behind Alpha was also teasing new motion capture work, likely for the character, so I think makes sense that we get more of Alpha in the DLC too. And I, by the way, scanned the new environment, but I could not see any machines walking around, so they probably turned them off for the trailer to not reveal too much. Next to the Deathbringer, I totally think the Tramplers will finally make a return. Their fire abilities, I think, really make sense for the burning team of the DLC. And because we haven't fought these machines with the Forbidden West enhancements, I think it will be a nice way for them to still make the gameplay in the DLC feel fresh. Although I'm sure they will of course also introduce new enemies to fight. In Frozen Wilds we had two brand new machines, of course the Scorcher and the Bear machines with the Fireclaw and the Frostclaw. Look the same, but they of course have totally different moves. And I still think these are two of the most impressive machines that they ever did. So the bar is high for this DLC. I at least expect two new machines. They note how their creative vision for the Burning Shores is an ambitious expansion. And with it launching more than a year after Forbidden West, we might be looking at a bigger DLC here too, compared to Frozen Wilds. LA is also a way more substantial and famous area than the Yellowstone National Park and Montana, and the fact that we have a flying mount from the start might mean that we are probably looking at a bigger open world. Otherwise, you will be able to see everything really fast. The price will of course be a good indication, but they have not announced it yet. I think we're looking at a $30 DLC, but that's just speculation. What we do know though is that the DLC won't be coming to PlayStation 4. They note that to achieve this grand vision technically and creatively, we've made the difficult decision to focus all our efforts on making an incredible experience exclusively for the PlayStation 5 console. Now personally, I'm all for this. Like, I'm really curious what Guerrilla can do when they're not held back by the PS4, but I totally get it that if you started playing on PS4 and have no plans to buy a PS5 anytime soon, that this news kinda sucks. And still seems like a decently sized group will be impacted by this, with almost a third of the Forbidden West sales being the PS4 version at the UK in the launch week. Although remember that the PS4 version included a free PS5 upgrade, so if you bought the PS5 disc, you basically paid $10 extra for nothing. But yeah, the reality is, it's time to move on. The PS5 will be out for 2.5 years by the point the DLC releases, and during previous generations, they would immediately cut off support for the previous console. So that we got 2 years of PS4 content after the PS5 was out is still pretty crazy. And if leaving the old 2013 hardware behind means that we get a better DLC, then I'm all for it. Like, next year will be crazy for Horizon. They also showed new gameplay for the PSVR 2 game that is coming on February 22nd. So then this DLC on April 19th. And like we should be hearing about the multiplayer project at one point as well. I also totally think that Horizon Forbidden West will launch on PC in 2023, maybe even around the DLC, that they also like launch a complete edition in April as well. They at least note that they will be sharing more with us very soon regarding the Burning Shores, so maybe even still this year, but probably in January. When we got new footage or info, I'll of course let you know here, so make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already. Check out the giveaway via the link in the pinned comment. A like on the video would really help me out. And playing New Game Plus to prepare for the DLC is actually pretty smart. You can watch our video on the modes by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.